Alright guys, super pumped. We've got the 1635 that came back from repair. Hopefully it is working, and most importantly, there is something awesome in here. We're gonna go shoot together. And if you're ready, wow, it is the 50mm f1.2. Oh, look at that beauty. It's gonna be really good, guys. We're gonna go talk about it. I've been shooting with it for the past few days, and I can tell you, this is a bokeh monster beast. There's so much to be said. Let's get out there. Woo! Here we go, guys. I hope you're having an amazing day and that you're ready. Today we're gonna talk about that 50mm f1.2. Is it worth it or not? Because I'm gonna put it out there. It is almost $2,000, $199, which is crazy. You might be asking yourself, well, do I need that expensive of a lens? Who is that gonna be for? How is the ergonomics? How is the optics? Does it work well or not? Is basically worth the investment? So let's get started. I don't want to waste your time, so let's go. Ergonomics, it is like every of those awesome GM lenses. I'm saying awesome because I love them. They're small, they're compact. Sony really made a huge effort into making it tiny and really accessible in terms of weight and size for anyone, and that is something I really appreciate. Thank you, Sony, for thinking about people who carry backpacks all the time. On top of a great weight, we have a fairly compact lens, where is something very, very interesting is that the front element is actually not convex, actually concave. It's bending inward. So if you had to put a little bit of water here, that could be a cup. That's obviously not what you want to do, but it's just to illustrate like how the lens is going inwards. And I think, if I'm correct, and Sony engineers, if you're in their area, that is actually to be able to have a compact, more compact lens and have something more lightweight, requiring maybe less glass. Because if you look at it, the glass is actually fairly small. If we compare to the 15mm 0.95 that I was shooting with the other day, that's bomb, the front element is actually pretty big. On top of that, we have that mighty eye focus button. We have the on-off manual focus. We have the clicky thing for the aperture ring. All that is great. It is as usual. Now, what we're really interested in and what I really want to talk about is that who is it going to be for? In what circumstances do you want to shoot with that lens? And most importantly, how does it shoot? Because I've been able to shoot with it for the past few days. I went on a challenge with Manny Ortiz. Manny, shout out to you. He's gonna drop the challenge, I think, end of the week for you guys. So please go check out Manny's work and make sure you subscribe so that you see the challenge. You'll see it's gonna be very fun. We're gonna do a second one with the 51.2 also for this channel. So I'm not gonna spoil it. It's gonna be awesome. In terms of optics and in terms of quality of the lens, I've been absolutely impressed by several things. And the first one will be, obviously, it's the bokeh. Oh yeah, it has an amazing bokeh, guys. It is really, really round. It makes everything disappear in the background. And you remember when I shot with the manual 50mm 0.95, we had great bokeh. It was kind of nice and organic. And here, I'm finding that exact kind of cool bokeh, but with the advantage that we are actually in autofocus, and the autofocus is insane. It's really good, reliable. Manny and I, we were shooting some video. We tried to take some clips shooting at f1.2. It was tracking the face the whole time. We never really lost it. It's just incredible. So you have that beautiful bokeh, the background disappears, and you have autofocus. What else do you want in life once you have those two things, right? Well, obviously it's coming at a cost, at an investment, but I can tell you, it's one of those things. If you're a professional photographer, if you're an advanced expert and you've shot with a lot of different lenses, you will really find your value in that lens. You will understand it, you will feel the quality and how it's been built. And when I say that, you have to remember that no one pays me for anything. They just lend me the gear before it comes out. I can try it and I can say whatever they want. They don't even review that video. So it's super important for you to keep that in mind. Just a last note on the bokeh. When you're at 1.2, the corners start to change a little bit, meaning you have the round shapes everywhere, but in the corners, the circles get a little bit squished, which Joy was telling me it's a little bit like on a lot of Cine lenses, which is interesting. But the moment you go back to 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, you're actually getting the bokeh super round on the whole image. Last thing, also regarding the optics and the image quality in corners, because that's linked to that corner bokeh, I found that I had very little distortions in the corner. I tried two lenses, the 65mm f2 and that 50mm at 1.2, and I focused on my screen at home, and I discovered that with the 65 Sigma I actually had a lot of bending happening in the corner. It was really caving in on all angles of the rectangle, but with the 50mm it actually wasn't. It's really something that I was impressed. That's why you pay more. It's the 1% of the 1% lens. It's when you want something that is kind of perfect, I will say. And I just discovered actually we have two buttons. And I remember in the challenge I was like, oh, it's actually great I have a button here to eye focus, but actually it's because I have two, because naturally I had to like twist my arm, but here we've got two. It's just a side note, but I think it's worth mentioning. What is going to be the use case of such a lens? When do you ever need 1.2? Well, that's a great question, because listen, I did some shots at f2.8, f1.2, and also at f1.8, just to show you the difference. And you guys can try to tell me, can you tell the difference between the shots? I personally could clearly see a very strong difference between the 1.2 and 2.8, so that's a big win. But now you may be asking yourself, but I can find a 50mm for basically 200 bucks or 250. That is going to be a f1.8. Do I need that 1.2? I would say if you're starting, you don't need it. If you're really going the extra mile and you need something that's going to perform excellent in low light and that will really make that background disappear fully, that 1.2 is going to be really good. If you're a wedding photographer, if you're shooting details, if you're shooting events and the scenes are kind of terrible in the background, well, you want to make sure that no one can see it, no one can tell what it is, and this is what a f1.2 will be for. 50mm also put me back all the way to my beginnings in photography when I acquired my very first prime lens, 50mm 1.8 from Canon, when I used to shoot Canon, and I can tell you that it's such a great pleasure. I feel like 50mm is that great lens for details, for portraits, for scenes, even in life. In street photography I was actually shooting a little bit with it, and it's that sweet spot where it's not too wide and it's not too tight, right? That 65mm I tried the other day was great too. It's a little tighter, but that 50 you're still able to get some ambience into your shots, and I think that makes a big difference. As you will see in the challenge with Manny, and I spilled one or two photos that I took during the challenge already, you will see that you're able to get a little bit environmental shots, as I would call them, in order to get some context into what's happening. And I don't know, that shooting at 1.2, and I've tried as much as possible to shoot at 1.2, it just makes things different, right? It just adds that organic feel to your photos. It adds that I'm focusing on that one single point in my image, and that's kind of what you want when you invest in those lenses. Now, as I mentioned, it is not cheap. It is not something to consider lightly. With that being said, guys, I think if you have the budget, go for it. If not, get a 1.8, you're gonna have just as much fun. Or if you want something that has crazy bokeh like we shot the other day, definitely get a manual 50mm, maybe like 0.95, and have real fun with it. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Now, this is a beast. I think I might invest and sell all the lenses just to keep it in my backpack. I've been wanting to go back to 50mm for a while. We'll see, I haven't made up fully my mind yet. But with that being said, guys, I want to wish you an amazing day. Make sure you subscribe, because we have the challenge with Manny that's gonna come out soon with some portraits. And with that being said, have an amazing day. So happy the sun is back and it's getting warmer. Remember here, that's where we had the Arctic ice expedition shooting with the A1. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's not a single piece of ice left, and it looks completely different. All right, see ya in the next one.